New at 5 o'clock, a tree walk is planned in Hannibal this weekend in Riverview Park. Attendees will search for what's referred to as a mother tree. That means they'll be looking for the largest trees while thinking about how they disperse nutrients to other trees throughout the park. Participants also will learn more about various biological connections.
So if we were to dig in the ground here, we would find all of these white filaments and other things that go on the roots of the trees, and they actually talk to each other.
Families will be able to participate in other events, including Meet a Tree. That's where blindfolded participants are introduced to a tree and then asked to locate it based on the way it feels.